Hey guys, on this video we're talking about 3 ways to help your toddler stay in their bed. Hey guys, we're talking today about helping your toddler stay in their bed. I hear this a lot, that their toddler just won't go to bed, won't stay in bed, gets up every 10 minutes, ends up in their bed. You hear all kinds of different reasons that whatever the reason is, your toddler won't stay in bed. So here are 3 of my tips to help make that easier. The first step is, first of all, I'm really careful about how I approach my language with bedtime. When we tend to know that there's going to be a battle, maybe because it's like this every single night, or maybe because you're making your child's least favorite meal, maybe something is going to cause an issue. We have a tendency to talk to our toddlers like we're preparing for a battle. Okay, in 10 minutes, it's going to be time for bed. You are going in your own room tonight. You're going to lay in your bed. You are not going to come to mommy's room. You're not going to get up. You are not getting a glass of water. It's bedtime. When we do that, it makes bedtime a horrible experience. I wouldn't want to go to bed if somebody was talking to me like that. So I'm very mindful of my language. I'm very mindful that while we're talking seriously about it's almost time to lay in our bed, I'm very careful about how I'm approaching it. I want bed to be, I want the idea that sleep is not this horrible thing. A lot of toddlers don't want to sleep. They want to play, they want to read, they want to do their own thing. Sleeping means stopping, sleeping means not being able to do something. However, I really want them to understand that sleep helps them. Sleep is fuel for their brain, fuel for their body. If they sleep, when they rest, their body and their brain get stronger so that they can do more fun things when they wake up. So using this type of language with your child, that it's time to rest our bodies so our bodies can grow, so that our brains can grow, so that we can keep having fun later, is really huge. This kind of creates the idea that sleep is good. Children love energy. They love the idea of, super fast speed, or they have all these superhero, super fast, ideas. And so if we start talking to them in a way that implies that sleep helps make them strong, helps make them fast, makes them, their brain smarter, their body stronger, playing into that really helps make the bedtime process a little less difficult. So I'm very careful about my speech and how I'm approaching the bedtime. The second tip that I have is really make sure that you have a really solid bedtime routine. Okay? When we have one day we read stories, but then one day you just go late in your bed, and then the next day you fall asleep on the couch. When there's too many inconsistencies, it's really difficult not only for your child to sleep and understand the importance of sleep, but it also creates the why do I have to stay in my bed? Because there's no rhythm. Children really like step 1, then step 2, step 3. And so for bedtime, they really need to see kind of a purpose in it. They need to kind of see how it flows, how it works. And, and so if you don't have a bedtime routine, I really encourage you to find one, start one. We have a few videos about bedtime routines that you can check out on our YouTube channel here. And we also have a free printable cheat sheet bundle, and one of those is bedtime routine tips. So if you don't have a bedtime routine, please check those out. There's a link in the description. Bedtime routines are so important for kids. They're so important for us as adults. It gives everybody kind of a really good and strong end to the day without being a huge fight, without being a, up in the air, kind of confused state. There's a flow, there's a rhythm, and they know what to expect. And when toddlers know what to expect, they thrive. So that's my second tip, is get a bedtime routine, or make a solid bedtime routine. My third tip here is get one of those, and it doesn't need to necessarily be go get this, but figure out some sort of visual with your child. I really like the light up lamps or light up timers that, if it's red, it's time to sleep and stay in our bed, but as soon as it's green, you can get up and come to mommy's bed, or it's daytime or whatever. Figure out some sort of visual for your child in their room. Something that is fun, but also not necessarily something that they can be holding, grabbing, manipulating, whatever. Maybe this is something that sits on a shelf. Maybe this is some sort of, maybe they have music that you play and it's on a timer to go off at a certain time. I know that would be a long time from night to morning, but they have all kinds of crazy things that will do that. Maybe when the music stops, then we can get up, or when you hear the music start, go ahead and get an alarm clock. Sophie for the most part is still sleeping in our bed, but that's our decision. We're totally cool with that. However, the few times she does sleep in her bed, she's really good about waiting for an alarm clock, waiting for music. When she hears music playing, then it's time to get up. And other toddlers and children that I've worked with really respond to that alarm clock as well. Especially if you know that your child goes to bed fairly well, but maybe it's that they wake up really early. So maybe they're waking up at 3, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and you want to get just that little bit of extra sleep for them. So that would be a good time to invest in some type of visual for them, so that even though they're awake, they can look and see, oh, it's still nighttime. There's nothing, my music hasn't come on yet. My clock isn't green. My door isn't open. Whatever signal that works for you and your family. So again, I'm very careful about how I communicate with the bedtime itself. I try to make it very positive, very, it's very positive. It's refreshing. It's a good thing. It's going to help them. The second thing is I make sure that I have a really good bedtime that's working. Maybe sometimes this means that I need to change or tweak the bedtime routine. Maybe this means I need to completely implement a bedtime routine. Kind of just, for you and your family, you'll know which one of those you need to work on. And the third thing is give your child some visual so that they can start putting the connection themselves between, is it time for me to be awake? No, it's time for me to stay in my bed. So those are just 3 of my tips. Leave us a comment. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. And again, check out those free printables. There's a link in our description. We have a bedtime cheat sheet that's super helpful. And I will see you guys in our next video. Thank you so much. Bye.